Why are y'all already calling this the next pandemic? That's my question. It didn't even, they're not even home.
All
They're on the
right,
boat.
so this furry little fella that we see on our screens right now just killed 3 people. I know that sounds shocking, but it's true actually. Well, not specifically
Is
this
it?
rodent. I just wanted to show you this pygmy rice
Or
rat
is this a
has
bat
been
soup
suspected
theory?
and linked to something what we now know is called the hantavirus, which has killed 3 people and have gotten 5 to 6 more people on a particular ship sick. According to multiple reports, they say passengers on board the cruise ship that has a suspected hantavirus outbreak where 3 people have died and 5 to 6 people are sick cries out as the ship remains near Cape Verde. Hantavirus is a rare but serious illness usually spread through contact with rodents or their waste. Additionally, what I've
did
been
they
able to
get it
learn,
then?
this virus is basically spread, I think, airborne via rat urine, feces, or their saliva. Typically, if in closed environments, and rats, they can crawl in tiny spaces and or ventilation systems where they, they poo, they pee, they eat. The dry particulates of their byproduct, their waste, can then be mixed in with dust, then spray that out for ventilation and
They're cooked. Oh my gosh. On a ship. Damn.
humans can breathe that in. Unfortunately,
That
it is
doesn't
a
sound
very
sincere.
deadly
It
virus.
is.
You have like
Truly.
a 50% chance of living or dying. I would not want to catch it, which is why they were holding off on even allowing these people to
go
board or
home.
dock anywhere. But I believe, last I heard, they're slowly letting these people off onto land now and trying to take very serious precautions as to how to handle
serious?
this. And of course, some
Because I know people say sink the ship, but I don't know if I don't know if I trust these. Who's making these calls? Like, that's my
said,
question.
sink the ship immediately.
Do they have our best interest at heart?
I think that's a bit too serious, but you never know.
Or do they
And
want
the kind of
money?
scary thing about this is a passenger on the MV Honidus, I believe it's called, which is what it's basically a polar Antarctic expedition ship where, rich people, not too rich, but $10,000 to $15,000 per ticket. I think they
Like
loop around South
middle-class
America
rich.
to head on over to Antarctica on these polar
rich
expeditions.
version of
Well,
middle
a passenger
class.
from the cruise ship, kind of a small cruise ship, about I think 75 passengers or so. He came out speaking about his experience, and so far, by the way, 3 people have died. The first person to die was a 70-year-old. He caught the virus.
Damn.
Long, excruciating, I think painful, slow death.
my gosh.
And then his wife died in South Africa, where they managed to dock, I believe, or allow her to hop off the ship, get medical attention, and she died. And then I believe a third person died who was a staff member. But anyway, here is his experience. Here is what he has to say.
It's not sounding so great.
Like this, but I feel like I need to say something, so I wrote a few things down. I am currently on board the MV Hondius, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story.
This is crazy.
We're not just headlines.
Right.
We're people.
Guys, read between the lines. He's making this just in case he dies, because apparently they were saying this ship was going to stay out there in the ocean and see.
That's terrifying. Being one of the people that don't have it, and you're just on the ship, and you're like, bro, let me off. And I'm assuming they got internet access. You could pay for Wi-Fi, I've heard. And you're just seeing people be like, oh, just sink everybody. Just kill everybody. Like, oh my God.
Waters for a month. I don't think that's happening, right? I think they're slowly letting people off the ship, taking extreme
go back to
precautions.
their
But of course,
family,
since this thing has like a 40
wasn't
to
supposed to be their
50%
last cruise.
survival rate. I guess this is kind of like his last will.
People with families, with lives.
Is it?
With people waiting for us at home. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part.
I'm sure.
Jesus.
All we want right now is to feel safe, to have clarity, and to get home. So if you're seeing coverage about this, just remember
Have a heart.
that there are real people behind it, and that this isn't something happening somewhere far away.
Right.
It's happening to us right now.
Right.
I'll share more when I can, but for now,
All right.
I just ask for your kindness and understanding.
I wish he would
So
get on my
guys,
ear too. But
a lot of countries were aware of
That's
this,
the other
and they
reason I
just
was
did not want
smiling.
these people to dock. They're also saying that this was picked up somewhere in South America, specifically around Argentina, although I think epidemiologists, these people who study the transmissions of
How would they
viruses,
even know?
correct me if I'm wrong, are saying they're kind of in debate about what part of Argentina this virus, this hantavirus, possibly spreaded by the pygmy rice rat, was picked up on. But yeah, it's from one of these rats, these pygmy mice rats. As you can see, Google says they're small small nocturnal rodents in the genus I can't read that, found throughout Central and South America in diverse habitats such as forests, scrublands, and agricultural fields, right? They are solitary, mainly terrestrial, feed on seeds and insects, and can be agricultural pests, right? All right, so rats, mice. And you know, people are now saying things like, I looked into that cruise ship outbreak and bro, I will be watching how that'll be handled like a hawk, because one slip up and it's another pandemic for all of us. I don't think that'll happen. Although, you know, we always think it won't happen to us until it does. Other people are saying all eyes on this hantavirus outbreak. It's not looking good. One person, Greg, said, so should I start buying toilet paper, you know, in reference to the COVID coronavirus era? They also say Justin, Switzerland detects hantavirus in MV Hondius passenger hospitalized in Zurich after onboard outbreak alert. So I'm not sure if this was like a random person from a previous expedition and or a person who was let off that specific ship. Here, as we can see, is the MV Hondius. Basically, by the way, this company, I believe they have a history of expeditions, scientific research, and now they're in the business.
Pre-quarantined right now. So test everybody. Who doesn't have it, go. Who does, stay. I don't know.
Selling tickets to just regular people who want to go on polar expeditions around South America and into Antarctica. And of course, in the comment section, people say give it a month, and this hantavirus would have spread out across the globe. An active outbreak alert, and they still let passengers off the ship. Those people are on connecting flights right now. Of course, I don't know about the validity of them being on connecting flights. I doubt they would allow that to happen. If we assume, you know, this isn't calculated. Listen, I'm not getting into any conspiracies here. I'm just saying, based off of I think the transmission rate, I think they call it the R0 of contagion. They're saying it's below 2, so the contagion rate is not that high, and the lethality of it, they're saying is pretty high. But it's just crazy how allegedly, supposedly, one little rodent can cause so much damage. Like, good God. New York Post here says cruise ship infected with terrifying hantavirus strain that has 40% mortality rate, which is great. 40% is crazy. I understand why nobody wants to take the risk. World Health Organization believes here's what happens next.
I was like, who believes? I just said it in all caps. I don't.
It's not, Jesus, it's not looking too good. 40% mortality is crazy. And just for reference, the mortality rate, or IFR, for COVID is like 0.05%, which is 0.5%, which is 1 in 2,000 people, just for reference. And this virus is what, like 40 times that? Anyway, New York Post says health officials believe a rare strain of hantavirus that spreads from person to person and has a 40% mortality rate is responsible for the outbreak on the MV Hondius cruise ship that has killed 3 passengers and sickened 7 others. And this is the ship right here. They say though hantavirus is typically only
remix. How are the 7 people doing? Like, I need stats.
Spread through rodent droppings, this particular strain is an alarming exception because this is a first, I think, of its case historically, and it's one that can't be ruled out. I was doing a little digging last night. They say this is the first time something like this in this specific way has happened. So that we're in uncharted territory here. And I believe this is a closer shot of the ship right here. An official said, we do believe that there may be some human-to-human transmission that is happening among the really close contacts. They also say the exceptional strain, the Andes virus, or Andes virus, is only found in the mountains of Argentina and Chile. The MV Hondius started its weeks-long voyage in Argentina on March 20th, but not in an area where that strain is usually found. Understand the language here. Usually found. They say the Andes hantavirus strain carries a mortality rate of nearly 40%, meaning a worst case scenario could spiral quickly in a confined environment such as the 80-cabin, 353-foot ship with
That's not what anybody on there wants to hear right now.
So it's double what I thought initially. The terrifying strain seemed even more likely after the World Health Organization said no rodents were found on board the vessel. That's crazy. Holy shit. See, that type of stuff when I hear scares me because you find no rodents on board. Were there any droppings? But, you know, where did this come from? Surely they had to have found something. They can't just find people sick with no evidence of them being sick from something on board, unless this came from mainland and then spread it from human contact to human contact. Here we have some screenshots of the place on board.
Yeah, 10 times more. I think I would rather the rats be with me. I could face my anger towards somebody.
TikTok from a news publication.
Of the cruise ship currently hit by a hantavirus outbreak looks like. This footage was taken by a passenger on board the MV Hondius in December 2025. About 150 people are currently stuck on the ship, which left Argentina in April for Cape Verde, and a number of passengers have been infected by the rodent-spread virus.
Okay, so to clarify, this was filmed in December of 2025, so this is just a video inside someone has filmed, just to show what the inside of the ship looks like.
A Dutch couple and a German national have died, and a UK national was evacuated from the ship and is in intensive care in South Africa. 3 other passengers with suspected hantavirus are now en route to the Netherlands. A man in Switzerland who was travelling on the MV Hondius but left his trip from South America at the end of April is also in hospital with the virus.
So my suspicions were right. This guy actually was on the same expedition, the same ship, but he left earlier in the trip. Okay, so apparently where they left the trip,
wait a minute.
they left from St. Helena, which is a remote volcanic island in the South Atlantic Ocean.
So
and just for reference,
St.
Helena is right here. Pretty remote, not gonna lie, but you can see it's between South America and off the coast of Africa, right? And this is a polar expedition, right? This is typically the route needed to reach Antarctica, of course, which is like at the bottom of the earth, South Pole, right? And they're saying the hantavirus may have been picked up somewhere around this area, Argentina. I mean, listen,
I've never been on a cruise, and certain things like just make me feel like I don't need to. Maybe it's a blessing. It's in disguise. You look at it and it's like, oh damn, I've never been on a cruise, and it might be sad, but then you look at the bright side and realize really need to. I don't really need to.
I hope this really doesn't turn into something major.
I have no business.
Because we don't need another multinational lockdown, global lockdown. Although I don't think it'll get that far, but if it does in some way, shape, or form, right? And people get scared, guys, just stock up. I'm not here to fearmonger. I'm not here to cause any panic, because I don't want to do that for anybody.
People are definitely panicking.
Better safe than sorry, I guess.
So in hospital with the virus. Robert Viguero, who took this footage during a trip in December, said he had no issues with cleanliness on board, adding the cabins and bathrooms were clean daily, and the common areas were also very clean.
So clearly this is not the issue of the ship. Clearly this is an anomaly. Sure. Listen, biology, epidemiology, viruses, Mother Nature self-corrects all the time. It's just, this world is full of very random genetic events that happen all the time. Sadly. Mutations occur all the time. It just goes unseen until a human comes in contact with it, and it's compatible with our DNA, and you know the rest. Someone said in the comment section, though, being broke saved
That's what I'm saying.
Another person said, stay safe, don't dock, and be healthy. By the way, these were from 4 or 5 hours ago. So this is just a continuing, developing, story that a lot of people are now becoming aware of. And guys, here's this video I want to show you.
Things are moving fast for the passengers aboard
this
the MV Hondius. For those people who are sick with hantavirus and those who are desperately hoping that they are not, the World Health Organization just told me that the 3
majority
sick
of the
but
people
living
on there
passengers will be airlifted off the ship by helicopter by the end of day today. They're believed to have hantavirus, and this is the same virus that killed 3 other people on that boat in the past days. But first, we need to understand what kind of ship that they were on, that they are on. The Hondius isn't your average cruise liner. This is a polar expedition vessel and operated by Oceanwide Expeditions. It's purpose-built to take really hardcore wildlife enthusiasts to the most remote corners of the planet.
Exactly.
Antarctica.
Maybe,
as I said before, each ticket for this expedition, $10,000 to $15,000, not normal. The average person can't spend a third of their yearly salary on a ticket. Clearly, this is skewed towards the wealthy or the retired.
Up to St. Helena, one of the most isolated islands on this planet. You can think of whales, dolphins, penguins, seabirds, up close and personal and in the wild. Ann Lindstrom, the WHO representative in Cape Verde, told me this may be where it all started. She says her educated guess is that passengers were exposed to the virus off of the ship in those remote landings, in those wild environments where rodents carrying hantavirus live undisturbed.
Am I tripping? If y'all have headphones on, I'm hearing some shit.
until
rice rat?
people disturbed them.
Oh.
Then back on board the Hondius, the first symptoms started appearing in early April.
Whatever, it
fever,
stopped.
gastrointestinal issues.
Maybe I'm tripping.
That then turned into pneumonia and respiratory failure. 3 people we know are now dead.
Yep.
And now the 3 being airlifted will be flown to the Netherlands. 1 is Dutch. And the ship itself will then sail to the Canary Islands, which Lindström told me has experience handling hantavirus cases. Now, as for those 140-ish passengers and the crew who are still on board, Lindström also told me that they could be stuck for up to 8 weeks on board because that is the full incubation window for hantavirus.
So I thought that was just a rumor. 8 weeks. What is that? 2 months? Holy shit.
That's a minute.
I heard initially a month. Now this guy from ABC is saying he spoke to the World Health Organization and experts. Told him that 8 weeks.
You ain't planning to be on this cruise forever, but like
that's awfully long. I guess they're gonna transport supplies and water and food to this ship while it remains just, I guess, floating in the ocean.
That's basically 8 weeks of just not knowing what's gonna happen. We've already seen the video from that one travel blogger.
My fear is that people forget about them. You know how like trends come and go and people forget, you know, within like a week. And it's like, you know, maybe this will stay relevant. If it doesn't progress in a worse way, then of course it'll stay relevant. But if it kind of just whatever, then like probably in 2 months, Mug's not going to be tripping off it.
Or who was teary,
maybe
stressed out. You can really feel it. But before the internet here tells you this is why they would never cruise, Lindström was clear to me. No rodents have been found on the Hondius. She says the ship has traps and that hantavirus is not COVID. It doesn't spread person to person in the way that COVID does. And then I asked her directly, is this a pandemic level threat? And she said, it's not.
It's not. Okay. Well, guys, what do you think? Crazy story here. I don't know what to think. I don't want to exaggerate.
And they don't want to panic the people. That's never what they want to do.
Blow something up that it's not or make things bigger than it appears to be. But
yeah,
of course, always take precautions. Knowing that some guy who didn't know he was infected was on a plane and actually was on board with other people moving through airports. And we know how virus spread. We know how viruses spread. Just be careful. Be sort of wary if you're in these regions. And yeah, take care of your health. This is a developing story.
Pretty much. Okay, boom. Honestly, we could check the comments real quick, but you know, from bats to rats. Oh my gosh. You know what? Yeah, we're not reading no comments. That's enough. That's the video. Stay safe, y'all.